Hello my loves and welcome to a new vlog. I am sorry if you are having issues hearing me. I've been having issues with my mic. I need to get a new one, but we're gonna have to deal with this as it is currently. But if you are having trouble hearing me, I will do my best to fix the audio if it is a problem. Today, for this vlog, what we are going to do is I am needing the push to tackle my physical TBR. I'm not going to do a TBR 0 or set a goal for myself. Like if we don't get here by the end of the year, I'm going to be dissatisfied with myself. Nothing like that. But I do need a push to read the physical books on my shelves. I have a ton that just take up room in my floor for the time being because, as you guys know, we will eventually be moving my library, and fingers crossed that that's going to be sooner rather than later, but we've had some setbacks. So at the beginning of the year, I kind of went through a few different ideas for what I was going to do for this type of video. And I have landed on a genre spin. So I will let my spinner wheel do its thing. And you guys have probably seen the title, the thumbnail, all of that stuff for this vlog, and already know that we landed on horror. And I'm pretty excited about this because I have had a lot of horror lingering on my shelves, and I do want to get a lot of them read. What I will not be reading is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. That one I am pretty much trying to decide if I'm going to unhaul it or not because I don't like V.E. Schwab that much. I bought it for a very particular vlog, and then that vlog did not go well. I DNF'd everything in that vlog, and I didn't want to just DNF another one. I did think that in that vlog we would have some wins, but we ended up having no wins. And however, I do have a little stack next to me of books that I think I want to tackle for this vlog. I do know where I'm going to be starting because it is one of my most anticipated reads of last year that I never got around to, and we will go ahead and talk about that. When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. Now, I have read Mary and absolutely loved it. It was a 4-star for me because it was kind of slow. It was very much a character study. And I've heard that this is much more fast-paced and eerie, I guess you could say. And so I really, really want to read this one, and I am dying to sink my teeth into it. Now, the rest of the books on the list are this is the pile of possibilities I will be pulling from for the rest of the vlog. I do have The Unworthy. I've not heard the greatest reviews for this book, so that's kind of what has put me off to it. But I own a physical copy of it, so I either need to read it or unhaul it. And I think I'm leaning more towards reading it because I do have a tendency to like culty books. I have heard this is fever dreamy though. That's going to be the thing that makes me not like it. This is a high possibility because on my Discord, we have a couple of people wanting to read Sister Maiden Monster, and I kind of just set up a chat and was like, okay, well, since we all want to read it, let's all read it. And I'm very much looking forward to this. This is a cosmic horror, and I have liked some cosmic horror and I've not liked some cosmic horror. So this is kind of going to be one of those that I need to read and find out again. Most of the books that are on my TBR are a read and find out. Then we have The Redemption of Morgan Bright. This is about a girl who infiltrates a psych ward in order to find out what happened to her sister. And I read from Chris Panettiere before. I think I've talked about this before. The one I read from him was kind of silly. And so I think whenever I look at this book, I see Chris Panettiere and I don't want something silly, but this is kind of gothic leaning. So I don't know why that has put me off to this, but it's where we are. Then we have Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. Now, I have just recently read a book by C.G. Drews and didn't like it. I liked it, but it was like not my jam. So I have been kind of iffy about going into this one, but I do need to get it read. It's on my 26 to read in 2026. A couple of these are actually. Then we have Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. I've been trying to read through my Rachel Harrison. I love Rachel Harrison. She is that cozy, campy horror writer that I really love. Her, Grady Hendrix, Sea Kingfisher, all of those kind of fall into the same wheelhouse. And I have a tendency to really like her. I think I've given everything 4 stars or above that I've read from her. So then to throw a shorty into the mix, this is on my horror bingo, and it's The Ballad of Black Tom, so I do need to get this one read. This is Lovecraftian in nature, I do believe, but with a twist. And then we have Parasite by Darcy Coates. This is a sci-fi horror. I've been trying to get this one on the horror read-along, and something else wins, so I just want to get this one read. But I will start When the Wolf Comes Home, and then I will be right back with you guys. Okay, ignore the outfit. This is something I bought on, or my niece bought for me on vacation. It's not my typical style, but I love wearing it around the house. I am about 2/3 of the way into When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, and I have to say I'm really enjoying this. This is fast-paced. I'm so glad that I had heard reviews of this before going into it because I kind of knew what to expect a little bit. Of course, there are reveals throughout this entire book that are wild, and I'm really enjoying all of the reveals, especially since I have read Mary, and that is a very slow, quiet horror. This is not that, but this is more my pace than Mary was, and I still haven't read Nestlings, but I want to. I'm really intrigued by Nat Cassidy and the way that he writes stories, the way he develops stories, because it seems like he pulls from a lot of influences, but still makes it his own. And I really enjoy that. This, I don't know what to say about it because other than what you read on the synopsis, I don't want to tell you anything. Like, I get all of these reviews that say you need to know nothing going into this other than what the synopsis tells you, and just kind of let it take you for the ride that it is, because it's fantastic. I have heard mixed reviews on it, and I get it, especially for people who liked Mary. This is not Mary. This is very different. And I get it for going into expecting one thing from an author and getting something completely different. But I have been prepared. And so I totally get why this was on so many horror readers' favorites of the year last year. It's fantastic. I'm loving it. I have a couple of friends who are like, I'm really interested to see what you think of this because I hated it. And yeah, I'm ready to continue on. I kind of binged all of this last night, so it shouldn't take me very long to finish it. And I don't know what I'm going to read next. I have been thinking of picking up The Unworthy though, because it's one that I either need to read or unhaul. I'm either going to love it or I'm going to hate it. I love culty books, but I've heard from so many people that this one's fever dreamy. The Surviving Saints, that's one that I read that I loved the writing and I loved some of the character dynamics in the book, but it was way too fever dreamy for me. And so I do know that I like culty style books, though I've read quite a few of them. It's just that one kind of lingers. And so that might be what I pick up next, just to get it off of my TBR. And then I do want to read The Ballad of Black Tom. That's a really short one. And most horror are a lot shorter than the fantasy I read, because this is like the typical size of a horror book. But you can only take so much, and it only takes so much to tell a horror story. There's not a ton of world building that has to happen. There's not a ton of magical explanation that has to happen, as with, you know, a lot of the fantasy. And I do have to say, this is not part of this vlog, but I did start Dawn of the Firebird, but I have to tell you, I'm going to soft DNF it because right now I just don't think I'm in the mood for that type of writing. It is very descriptive, and I'm focusing on horror right now, which is quick and punchy, and I'm just focusing more on this type of writing than I am on that. And that was just too much for my brain. There's a lot going on in like my personal life, and so my brain doesn't really want that right now. I do plan to go back to it though. It's a soft DNF, not a hard DNF, not unhauling it. And then I also got, which you guys can kind of see the stack here, I picked up some more horror, and I got Salt and Broom, Ghost Camera, Dearest, Tradwife. So I don't know if I'm going to tackle one of those in this video, but I did get some new horror, and since this is a horror vlog, one of those might happen. But that's my update for now. I will see you guys in the next clip. All right, I have a couple of updates for you guys. So I finished When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. Let me just say, I really enjoy Nat Cassidy's writing, but I also really enjoy his afterwords. Like, I really love reading those, and I think they add a lot to what he has to say within the book. But this was so incredibly fast paced. It was so easy to read. I really enjoyed, well, I want to say enjoyed, but there's a lot of dark content that goes on in here. And this is a horror vlog. We know why we're here. So let's just get to the fact that I loved everything about this. It was so dark. It was so gritty. The little boy was such a fun addition to a story like this. And I really loved being in the characters' heads. I really loved seeing things from each person's perspective within the story. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to give any spoilers or anything like that. This was so good. I'm going to give this 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. On that note, I also finished The Ballad of Black Tom. Now, I just sat down this morning and read this, and I do have to say, I liked it. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I know that with the commentary and stuff, you would think I would give it more, but I really wanted this to dig deeper. I wanted it to not be so on the nose. There were some things I just had issues with, but I'm really, really interested in picking up something else by Victor LaValle because I want more. That's my biggest problem with this book, is that I want more. And this is a retelling of a Lovecraftian story. We all know Red Hook. I can't remember the full name of the story, but this is based on that. And I liked it, but I really wanted more from the story. If someone's going to give me a reimagining, a retelling, I want it to delve deeper than the original, or give me something that's a little bit different from the original. And that, yes, obviously there is going to be some differences because we have a Black author writing a Lovecraftian story, and Lovecraft himself was highly racist. So there are differences, but just wanted more. I expected more, especially with how many people give this book 5 stars. I did see that on Goodreads, it does have like a 3.6 rating. So maybe not everybody gives it 5 stars. Just a lot of people that I know give it 5 stars. And I can see why, but I don't know. I wanted more from it. That's all I can say. So we are going to move on to one book that has been lingering on my TBR for the last year because I've heard very mixed reviews about it, but we have had a hit and a miss here so far. Well, I wouldn't say a complete miss because I would read more from Victor LaValle, but I want to read The Unworthy and see what I think of it. This gets, again, mixed reviews. I do think it's fever dreamy, so if it is, there's a good chance that I will DNF, but it is so incredibly short, almost as short as this one, which is a novella. So I know very little about this book. I did know what it was about whenever I first picked it up, but I think it's about a post-apocalyptic cult, and they are kind of on the outskirts of society in this convent. Really, I'm just going to go into this a little blind because what I knew, I don't really remember, and we'll just see what I think about it when I get into it. I do have to say I have obtained advanced listening copies of Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher, so that's likely going to be in this, and Green and Deadly Things by Jen Lyons. I don't know if I'll put that in this one because I know that it's dark fantasy, but I don't know that it's necessarily horror. And then Shy Girl from Mia Ballard. So I will likely read Shy Girl and Wolfworm for the next few books in this, but I do also have Black Sheep, and that's also very short. So it could be that we hit like 5 books within a week here, 6 books within a week, just because what I'm picking up is not very long. And I will be very excited to get at least the 4 that we are talking about off of my TBR, and at least a couple of them shelved and off of my floor, like I said. We have some very exciting news for Tulsa too. IKEA is coming and is coming soon. So I'm very excited for that since we have been talking about moving my library for quite some time now. I did get onto IKEA's little app that they have where you can do your own showcase of the room that you're trying to redecorate. And I'll post that up here so that you guys can see it, what my thoughts are and my ideas for what the library will look like whenever we do get it moved. I'm excited to get rid of these shelves. Well, they're not really going anywhere. They're just going to be moved elsewhere, not in my library, because they don't hold a lot. As you can see, there are huge gaps. And I'm thinking of also getting some of those like little boosters so I can double stack these. That might help with the room problem I'm having, but as you will see with the picture that I've inserted, that I'm going to be acquiring quite a few more shelves. So I will update you whenever I get further into The Unworthy. Also, I have been feeling a little bit depressed, not like I'm so sad and, you know, those things. Like, I can feel the tired. I can feel the kind of uselessness that depression gives you, and the inability to find joy in things that I really love. So if I'm not excited about these books, if I'm not coming to you in high energy, that is the reason. But my PCOS does cause some of those issues just because it messes with my hormones. And I hate coming to you guys whenever I am dealing with that stuff. But I do want to be a little bit more consistent this year. That's something that I have been focusing on. I did miss a couple of days due to extreme pain and due to the fact that I was very sick. So those I couldn't have helped, but I am trying to be more consistent with the rest of it. Hello, we are back to the teddy bear hoodie. This is what happens when I cannot seem to get my hair to cooperate. I am about 46% into The Unworthy. I did decide to go ahead and get the audiobook for this. And I have to say, I'm actually really enjoying it. I don't know what it is about this book in comparison to other books of this style that makes me like this one, but I don't typically like others. I did really also like Victorian Psycho, which has very much like the same type of writing style. I don't know where these fingerprints came from. I don't eat stuff whenever I'm reading, so someone else must have grabbed my book to move it, which kind of makes me mad. But anyway, this kind of reads like a journal of this woman's life. And this convent thing that they are a part of is brutal, like absolutely brutal. And she's kind of nutballs. Like she's really messed up. And the way that people join this convent is also really messed up. The way that they go about like deciding who is worthy, who is unworthy, the chosen, like all these different things, really, really, really messed up. So I could totally see the apocalypse happens and stuff like this happens, because we already see very culty things within our world that we just look at it and go, why the heck? Why the heck would you follow that? Why the heck would you fall into that? Like, it's so insane. I totally need to update my books read because I'm further than 12 now. Anyway, ADHD, here we go. But yeah, I'm really liking this. And like I said, I really liked Victorian Psycho, which kind of did this same type of thing. Both of them are very short, though. I don't know that I could read a 400-page book like this, but the length of it, it's really working for me. And I unintentionally got to almost 50% of the book without checking in with you guys. I was just going to start it back up and listen to it some more this morning. And I was like, oh, I'm halfway through the book. Maybe I should do a check-in. But I get why people don't like this. I can't say that it's like a character study. It is more stream of conscious about what's going on in this place, what's going on with this woman, and kind of her not really buying into everything that this convent is all about. I just really enjoy it. It is very dark. It is very brutal. There's a quote on the back of this from Lucy Rose, who wrote The Lamb, another book that I really enjoyed. It says, "Barbaric, brutal, and utterly beautiful. The Unworthy is a searing haunt of a novel that I will never forget." I'm kind of there. I'm agreeing with that statement. Is this going to be 5 stars? I don't know yet. Yes, I'm halfway through the book, so I should have an idea. It's going to be all about how this ends, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't see it being below a 4-star at this point, but I'm not exactly in the 5-star. I'm obsessed with this like I was with Victorian Psycho. I'm not there yet. So I will check in with you guys when I finish this book. I did make a little bit of a boo-boo in my last clip. This is supposed to be about books that are on my physical TBR, and I'm trying to get them off of my floor and onto my shelves. So what I was saying about the ARCs negate that. However, if you guys know me, I'm definitely going to be buying the T Kingfisher regardless of, or I would have bought regardless of getting an ARC. So that was the process that went through my brain in telling you I was going to do that for this video. So I think instead of doing the ARCs, even though I really, really want to read them right now, I'm going to push that back. I'm going to stick with Black Sheep for now, and possibly either Hazelthorne or The Redemption of Morgan Bright, because I want to make a dent in the physical books that I have. That is the whole purpose of this video. So let's not delve into the ARCs just yet, but that does mean that my next vlog can be reading the ARCs that I have, because I have quite a few of them and I do need to get to them. That also means that I need to get to Alchemy of Secrets very soon, because that is my Patreon buddy read, and I need to make a dent in my Q1 TBR. I think I've read about half of the books that I said I was going to read, but I still have Brimstone, Heat of the Everflame, Ashfire King, all of those, and those are chunky books. So in March, I will probably be tackling those. And then I have a couple that are shorter, but anyway, I'm hoping next month we'll get either fantasy, romantasy, or sci-fi, and that will put another dent in the books that I need to tackle for March. But yeah, I mean, I'm having such a good time with this horror vlog. Horror is my first love. It is the one I always go back to when all else seems to fail. And when I say all else seems to fail, I don't think that I am failing with fantasy. I just think that I read it for so long and my ADHD has said, nope, we don't want that anymore. And I will go back to fantasy and read some and still really enjoy it. So I don't think it's a enjoyment problem. I think my brain has just shifted gears and I need to find a way to get myself back in the fantasy mood, but I'm not going to force it. I do still want to read Empire of the Vampire, the final book in that. I still want to get to that. Obviously, the Ashfire King. I have the next book in the Silver Blood Promise. I think it's the Blackfire Blade. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I can see it. And, you know, The Strength of the Few. I still want to get to all of those books. I'm still very, very excited about those books. I just need my brain to cooperate. So if you guys have any ideas about how to settle back into fantasy, I've tried with a vlog that didn't really work, but that was more so planning. My first few videos that I recorded for that vlog ended up like getting really jacked up. And so I couldn't use the footage that I was intending to use for that vlog. And then I started reading a couple fantasy novels and my brain just noped out of them. I was enjoying both of them though. And one was The Run of Kings and the other is Song of the Huntress. So I probably need to get back to those, but I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit, and it could be because I'm struggling mentally. Like I said in my last clip, I have been dealing with a little bit of depression, which is just my hormones going out of whack. I'm not sad about any particular thing. There's not a whole lot of stress. There is some stress. And it has to do with my husband's schedule changing and just little things that keep shifting. And my brain doesn't like change because I have ADHD, and change is not always the greatest thing whenever I'm trying to get into a routine. So yeah, that's about all I have to say today. Well, right now. You might see me later on today after I finish The Unworthy. I have to go pick up my kiddo from school. So I will see you guys in the next clip. Guys, I have an update for you. I finished The Unworthy and ended up absolutely loving it. This is very much like what I was saying before, kind of like a journal entry of what it's like to survive this cult in the apocalypse or post-apocalypse. And I'm sorry if I am yelling at you guys. My mic, I can't attach it right now. My phone is dying. But that means that I got 3 physical books off of my shelves because I'm going to have to end the vlog here. I was planning to read Black Sheep, but I mean, it's a small dent, but it is a dent, and I'm happy that I can shelve these. They can get off of my floor now. I'm actually going to go ahead and sell The Ballad of Black Tom, so 2 of them are going on my shelves. But I had a great time with this vlog. Even though my depression kind of took over, I really just enjoyed what I read. And I think part of it is because these are very fast-paced, very dark, so they let me lean into the darkness of my depression. And you know, I just really enjoyed them. I mean, there's nothing much else to say about that. We have a 5-star, a 4-star, and a 3-star, but I think that all of them were still good. And I am kind of excited because I have already done my spinner wheel for the next vlog, and it is some books that I really need to get off my shelves. I was worried that I wasn't going to have enough books to actually fulfill this prompt because I have a tendency not to purchase this genre. I just listen to the audiobooks and don't really buy them. So you guys will see that in the next video. That is it for this one. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.